10 flight hours away from home.
3 weeks.
5,000 kilometers in the car.
17 campsites.
A lodge.
Scorching heat and heavy rain.
River crossings, dust and sand tracks.
Green mountains, red desert, grey coast.
Elephants and mosquitoes.
This was our Namibia trip in February and March 2025.
We have thousands of photos and videos with us and want to share them with you. It was a special journey where some might now be wondering, how did we prepare? Basically, it was about half a year from the idea to the flight.
Almost half a year.
Prepared intensively for almost half a year. Above all, we looked at what we wanted to see in Namibia, what are the highlights. Then we roughly marked it on the map and set a daily goal, a travel target of about 250 kilometers that we aimed to cover, because we also didn't know what the road conditions would be like. How much can we really manage in one day? And then afterwards planned the route. So there are a few paved roads, but even more gravel roads.
Where it was hard to estimate how well you could progress. So can you only drive 50 on such a gravel road, or can it be faster? That's why we didn't set the routes too far, just to have a bit of a buffer, and we are actually also in the process of and we stayed spontaneous to say, if we don't reach the set goal today, then we might not necessarily stay overnight where we intended.
Exactly, so that you have a certain buffer to possibly aim for another campsite. Also, we didn't want to spend the whole day on the road. That's why with 2 or 3 hours of driving, we were roughly on track and could often use the pool in the lodges or at the campsites in the afternoon and just relax a bit from the day. Also, it was, of course, about the highlights.
Exactly. So it was simply a good mix of preparation and spontaneity. Of course, we first roughly looked at the route on a map and then
use the GPS.
So we then, there's good map material, tracks for Africa, which is also recommended in relevant forums. The latest version was in the fall of 2024. The lodges and the roads and even small sand tracks are really marked in detail so that we were almost accurate to the meter with the navigation system at the end. We transferred the data, the map material to the Garmin navigation system, and then took the navigation system with us. And that we then ended up almost meter precisely at the entrance of each respective campsite.
yes, that was definitely fascinating and it worked great.
The map material is for roads, for routes, for sites, for accommodation options, for gas stations. So yes, great.
Yes.
Of course, preparation also includes the luggage. It is a flight and the luggage is naturally limited. Then we decided on a camping trip, which simply means that you have to take a few more things with you.
We flew with Discovery,
A subsidiary of Lufthansa.
Exactly.
From Frankfurt am Main.
Had 23 kilograms of free baggage allowance for checked luggage and 8 kilograms for hand luggage. For the hand luggage, we absolutely maxed it out. Both of us were even slightly over on the scale at home, also I think at the airport, but it was within the limits. Now, one might wonder, where do all the kilos come from? They definitely didn't come from clothes for us. We saved quite a bit on that, so we didn't take a lot with us, rather decided to do some washing along the way.
which worked well too.
Maybe because of the travel time, since we were traveling in February and March. This is the hottest time. It is the rainy season, and at the same time the hottest season here in Namibia. During the day it was sometimes up to 38 or 39 degrees Celsius. At night it was also sometimes very hot, but sometimes it went down to 22, 24 degrees. But it's no comparison to the Namibian winter, where temperatures can also drop below zero at night. Therefore, we had light luggage, short things, shorts, also an animal, also a sweater or a jacket in case it gets cool in the evening, but
A cardigan was the maximum.
absolutely nothing for cold temperatures.
Yes.
You wanted to tell what else we packed for camping. You are the camping specialist.
You had a string of lights with you.
We can show that right away. Without fairy lights, it's quite dreary. So here it was, the sun set at 7 in the evening, and then you still sit outside. And what is an evening without fairy lights?
Yes, especially since it was really wound on a spool and also wonderfully lit our way to the toilet at the campsite at night.
And also in the camper, because the light in the camper is really a disaster.
So a lamp,
A nice lamp.
the must-have, expandable as a string of lights. Yes, exactly. What are the other things you absolutely need here?
So I also had chemicals for the camping toilet with me, for example, but everything was provided by the camping company. Otherwise, we also made a short video about the camper. You can see again what's all included. In principle, it was really well equipped. Camping equipment, we had headlamps with us, but we rarely use them.
Also rented a camper from Britz
Yes.
in Windhoek, right at the airport. So after 10.5 hours of flight, we arrived at the airport, then waited half an hour to get our luggage. Then the colleague from the car rental was already waiting for us, picked us up right away. And then we drove. It was now 2 kilometers, or not even 2 kilometers further, 3 minutes to the rental station. There we had the handover. The vehicle was basically fully equipped with on this bed with a duvet, blankets,
Towels were included.
towels included, fully equipped as
Everything is perfectly clean, really.
as a camper, everything clean. And the handover, you have to allow 2 hours.
Yeah, so we were shown a video that included all the important information. It also covered traffic rules in Namibia, where we are allowed to drive, at what speed, as well as some general things about the camper. And then there was also a personal briefing where the technology was explained to us. So that went really well. Also about changing tires, which happens often in Namibia. A few things were explained to us about that. Yes, Britz, otherwise great service. We could have contacted them anytime. Luckily, today is our last day. I hope that nothing happens on the last 100 kilometers tomorrow, but fortunately we didn't have to use it, but I felt completely well taken care of.
Exactly. Yes. And then you get the keys, put them in the car, and then you head towards Windhoek, towards the capital. Driving on the left side of the road. Driving on the left takes some getting used to. Of course, logically, the steering wheel is on the other side. The turn signal and the windshield wipers are also switched. Otherwise, of course, the gear lever, it was an automatic car, is naturally in the middle, logically. Automatic makes it significantly easier, of course.
So we occasionally, it almost always happened until the end that we turned on the windshield wiper when we wanted to signal. But, well,
Yes, but as I said, in the city, that's the first real test with traffic lights, with roundabouts on the left. But as soon as you leave Windhoek, you are really, just by the traffic routing, really guided to drive on the left.
but you do have to drive to Windhoek fast. The airport is about 40 kilometers away, but actually all roads lead to Windhoek first. You can't avoid it.
Exactly, especially because you also have to buy the first groceries, the first equipment, the first supplies for the camping trip somewhere.
Yes, exactly.
And you do that in Windhoek, in the Merua Mall or at Spa. There are countless options to first buy the basic equipment. Water is very important, the first groceries. And you should also calculate about 1 to 2 hours for that, even within the country.
But that brings us back to the luggage, because everything from shower gel, everything we know from Europe, including shampoo and so on, doesn't need to be packed in the luggage because everything is available here. Prices are similar to those in Germany. And you can really save on luggage and just do a proper shopping here. Otherwise, we are still on the question. How did we prepare? That was quite a long preparation. I have noted down the point here, international driving license. That's just something you need to think about at home. Passport is obvious, but maybe not everyone has the international driving license in mind. I didn't either.
Alex informed me.
Exactly, this is simply important because the authorities here, and if the police stop you, cannot read or interpret the EU driver's license, and the international driver's license is basically just the English or a translation of the EU driver's license in multiple languages.
We needed it once, so there are indeed police checks, actually more than in Germany. That happens here from time to time.
There are different areas here where you cannot bring meat and food across borders. These are veterinary borders, and often the police are there with a veterinarian to check and see, are you allowed to drive? What do you have on board? Do you have meat, food on board? But that was relatively uncomplicated, so you stop there, make small talk with the police officers, answer the questions almost truthfully, and
All very nice. You can also do drive.
But there we did show the international driver's license once in a while, so it wasn't completely for nothing. Still preparation, we decided on the camper for this trip. You can do it in different ways. Some just book lodges, some are with what you actually see the most, I would say, are rooftop tents here. Really also all-wheel drive cars with roof tents mounted on them. But I just had the desire, I wanted to have a toilet on board. Because it is, it is a bit different how far you have to walk, especially at night. I wasn't really keen on that because there are snakes and scorpions out there, and I didn't want to stumble around too far at night.
also, if I may add, it wasn't always entirely clear whether we would have a campsite every evening, every night, or if we might have to camp somewhere in the wild if we couldn't make the distance.
This is also allowed outside the national parks here in Namibia, so you can definitely do that. We would not have had any problems with that at all, but it just worked well for us with campsites. Nevertheless, I would choose the camper again. We did not have to set up and take down a rooftop tent, and it simply offers a certain comfort.
Are we through?
I still have the topic of money here because we were thinking earlier, how much can we pay with a credit card? How much cash do we take with us? Where do we exchange the cash? In Germany, it's unfavorable because the exchange rate is very bad.
After we calculated what we would spend on fuel costs, food costs, and also costs for the lodges, we budgeted 1,100 euros in cash for the 3 weeks, and we exchanged that into Namibian dollars right at the airport in Windhoek. The rate was 1 to 18 or 1 to 19, so relatively, yes, was okay.
Exactly.
And then we really had a big, thick bundle of money,
which we first distributed in the car in 3 different places and in the wallet, so that we don't have everything with us at once. And
you could say that at least at most of the...
actually at all gas stations we could have also paid with a credit card. Also in the lodges and at the campsites it would have been possible at most places.
So you don't really need to take such a large amount of cash with you from the start.
No.
However, I must also say that 1,100 euros were definitely not enough for the 3 weeks, so we really still have a lot.
often used with a credit card.
But we also assumed that. Always using the credit card again, we already thought that.
We need to display the total below after a thorough calculation.
Yes, we don't have that yet. There will be a final accounting at the very end showing what the whole thing cost us. I'm really interested in that myself, because many things have just gradually disappeared here. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. And then we set off with a thick bundle of cash.
We also directly asked for small bills at the airport. We specifically requested that because it's customary, even at gas stations, to give a small tip. Even if we paid by credit card, you usually give 10 or 20 Namibian dollars as a tip, which is about 50 cents to €1. And
which is also related to the fact that many people here have mini jobs. So you have someone in supermarkets who stands at the checkout in addition to the cashier and packs your groceries into a bag, or at the gas station.
There's additional service where you also give a tip.
Exactly, the windows are always cleaned, so someone always comes over and cleans the windows, which really makes sense with the dusty roads and all, and you simply always give a tip at the gas station.
Exactly, and then it's also the case that often in front of the supermarket, or when you want to park at tourist attractions, someone comes up and says they'll watch the vehicle during that time and so on, and then you give them a little. Well, you talk about between 5 to 10 to 20 Namibian dollars approximately, which means about 20 Namibian dollars are roughly equivalent to €1.
You should really have a little something with you from the start.
Exactly, you should have that with you, so you don't have to start fumbling for your wallet or don't have change with you or something. And I think you should also factor in that this tip is part of it.
Even during the vehicle handover.
Exactly, you give them something, and
That's why it was good that we really had it from the beginning.